Alrighty, good afternoon everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm out here at the new Chimney Hills course over in Burlington, North Carolina. Going to be trying it out, getting ready for the Yeet Street 2024 amateur tournament coming up here on February 17th. That's Saturday. It's going to be a 2-round, one-day tournament out here at this Chimney Hills course. So thought we'd come out here and try it out, test out some of the shots and see what it's got to offer. So thank you all for watching, and hope you enjoy. All right, hole one here is a par 5. They don't have a lot of official footage yet for any of the holes, so I'm going to be doing a lot of range finding, trying to get some numbers on some of the shorter holes. But for this par 5 to start, we got a couple of lanes. It's very wooded, and it looks like it bends slightly to the left. I'm going to have to see as we get up there, you know, where the actual hole deviates, and I'll keep you guys updated. But for right now, I'm just going to start with a little Palladium Petra off the tee. Just kind of hit it straight flat and kind of let it go left at the end of the flight. That is why we do 2 off the tee. Let's try an Ethereum Petra. Actually get it down the line this time. Much better. Still hit a tree at the end, but hit the intended gap. All right, walking up to my lie here, definitely looks like there's a couple of different paths you can take. There's this right gap, which kind of joins where it looks like the intended shot shape is off the tee. But then there's also this left gap, so it kind of looks like there's options depending on where you land. But I'm gonna keep going straight with this right gap. Looks like it might bend slightly to the right. Okay, I just took a little jog up the fairway. It looks like it does finish right. So I'm thinking on this next shot, it's either a big forehand or like a turnover backhand mid that kind of finishes to the right. So I'm gonna try both of those now. I'm gonna start with the forehand. DDX. All right, that got through clean. Should give me a nice little upshot into the green. Now going with the Midnight Prowl 2. Oh, a little low on that. If it had the height, it probably would have kept turning right. All right, let's see where those landed. All right, so landed in kind of a tricky little awkward spot. You can see the basket a little bit further down the fairway right there. So this is on the left side of the fairway, which seems to be a little bit more open up until you get to that last gap. And then the right side of the fairway, still a little congested, but I think a little bit clearer access to the green. So let's see what we can do. I am just gonna try and do a little baby flex with my P3X down this right gap and hopefully land close to the basket. Been practicing my standstill, so let's see how this goes. Not good. One more try. Sea-Line, or excuse me, Lux Vapor Logic. That was a lot better. If I had the P3X on that line, it probably would have been parked. All right, let's do that upshot. All right, really behind this tree. Not really clear backhand to it, so I'm just gonna try and like poke and hope a little flex forehand with my A2. Come back. Whew. Quite a ways past the basket, but it got through. All right, so walking up to the green, I think the right side definitely is more clear. If you can throw something just kind of like straight through this right side, it seems like the green becomes a lot more accessible, as indicated by the Logic being parked and my A2 still a ways over there. So first putt of the day. Oh, just short. Alrighty, this is hole 2, par 3. 319 feet according to the sign. Again, kind of two options off the tee. You can take this right gap, which takes you a little bit wide of the basket. The basket ends left. Or you can kind of risk this inside gap, which is just going to be a little bit of a trickier shot. I'm going to throw my FD3 on a slight hyzer down the right gap and hope it just curves into the basket. All right, that was pretty much as perfect as it gets. I think that's going to be pretty close to the basket. I'm going to try this inside gap with like a little hyzer stand up with my Vela and see how that goes. Oh. Got through the gap, but did not stand it up enough. As I'm walking up the fairway of 2 here, I just wanted to let you guys know that I am officially sponsored by Yeat Street Discs now for the 2024 season. I got a lot of tournaments coming up that I'm going to be representing them at, hopefully getting a couple of podiums and even some W's if I can manage that. Going to be playing in the MA2 division to start off with. Ooh, don't mind me, I'm just traversing this a little bit muddy fairway. Rained 2 days ago, so just trying to deal with that right now. Yeah, gonna be starting on MA2, maybe working my way up through the year as I kind of improve. I'm gonna be practicing as much as I can, playing as much as I can, so I'm hoping that that leads to improvement. Maybe end at MA1 towards the end of the year. But for these first couple tournaments, just gonna be doing that. So like I said, Saturday, February 17th, Yeat Street is going to be holding a tournament here at the Chimney Hills course. So make sure you sign up for that. It's going to be a great time. This course is already seeming really cool. So, and here we are at the basket, my FD3 practically under it. Alrighty, we got hole 3, par 4. It says 460 or 36 feet on it. Kind of like from the blue tee, a very tight flex that kind of ends left, and then you get a tunnel up to the green, it looks like. So I think I'm gonna go with my Color Glow FD3 and just trust it on that anhyzer so that it pans but comes back out at the end. See how it goes. Needed just a bit more height on that. Caught the mulch, kind of slowed it down, but that was basically the flight that I wanted. All right, so as I'm walking down the fairway of 3, there is this basket hidden over on the left-hand side, but I believe that's the pin position for another hole down the line of the course. Like I said, this is the fairway that I threw my FD3 down, and it almost looks, if you can see, I'm gonna walk up a little bit closer to it. This mound here, there's a couple flags on it, which I'm thinking they might intend to be part of a green with the basket at some point or another. But as we take a nice little left-hand turn, see my FD3 landed here, and the basket is tucked around this little corner here, and to the left, it's about right here where my finger is. So if you can push down a little bit further, it probably opens up this angle, because this is going to be tight trying to access this green. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so yeah, it's a tight dog leg left around this corner tree here, so I'm gonna throw my A2 on a good bit of hyzer and kind of just hope that it flare skips towards the basket. Let's see how that goes. That was executed really well, so I think I'm gonna have myself a putt. Alrighty, that's what we love to see. A little bit of luck, but good execution. And that's us a nice little birdie putt on this pretty challenging par 4. See you on the next one. Alrighty, hole 4 here. It's a par 3, 366 feet. goes down this ravine and then back up the hill. It's pretty much dead straight and just slightly to the left. This is a pro level hole, I'll tell you that much, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach this pin position on this kind of line. But I'm going to try and go with my ESP crank. We have the one center tree that's the biggest tree in the fairway that's kind of right where you want to throw your disc, so you kind of have to go something flippy that starts on the left side of the fairway and kind of works its way up. So let's see how that goes. Oops. Come back, come back. Alrighty, well, it got down the fairway, but it didn't have quite the fight back left that I needed to, but overall, pretty satisfied with that shot. Should be an easy upshot for par. Figured I would go ahead and showcase the red tee pad here too. It's kind of to the left of where the blue one starts, and it's a more basic kind of just hyzer shot that goes up to the fairway from the blues and then bends left. It says it's about 260 on the tee sign. Alrighty, so my crank actually made it quite a ways more up the fairway than I was expecting. I'm almost pin high, just a little bit low. So let's see if we can make a quick straddle putt. All right, that's a good birdie. I didn't think I was gonna get this hole when I saw it on paper, but you throw the right shot, you'll get rewarded. Alrighty, got hole 5 here. It's a par 4. It says 400 and I believe 16 feet on the signage. I don't know if I quite believe that. It might be a little bit farther, but as you can see, there's a very tight tunnel here right off the tee. The red tee is directly in front of this one, and it looks like to be a forehand. Get through the gap and then just kind of gradually go right. Set yourself up in some sort of landing zone, and then it's a basic hyzer pitch to the green, which turns left. So a very S-shaped hole. Let's see what we can do. I'm gonna try throwing my Vanguard on forehand so that I get a little bit of pop-up and maybe ride just a bit more straight than my FD3 would dump, so that I can get a little bit more progress down this fairway and hopefully hit this gap. Okay, I yanked it over a bit. It did catch edge and got back right a bit, but it's gonna make for a tricky upshot. Bonus shot, practice shot. Gonna try the FD3 just to see if it can get through this gap and get me a little bit more right. Okay, yeah, should have trusted myself. If I just commit to the FD3, that's gonna be the shot. All right, Vanguard landed in a very tricky spot. Hole bends far to the left after this, so I'm gonna take my MD5 and put it on hyzer and just hope it gets far enough left. Hit the tree near the end. It's gonna be a simple upshot for par. Okay, so my FD3 did actually end up landing a little farther right on the fairway than I would have hoped for. So I think my original assessment of you want a bit of a straighter push on here is correct. You can see the FD3 right there. So it is facing towards the basket, which is down this tunnel here and just slightly to the left, but I think I'd rather be a little bit more in the middle of the fairway. Logging up the fairway towards my MD5, and it looks like, again, there seems to be this little outcutted area with a flag that almost indicates that, to me, that there might be considering some alternate pin positions as well. So something to keep an eye on, keep an ear out for, but that's the basket. Let's see here, and my MD5 is right under this tree here, so gonna be just like a little big Anheuser jump putt for par. Weak arm down a little bit, but should be able to clean that up. A little cleanup putt for par. brutal. That's why you should hit center chain instead of left side. Felt good out of the hand, but obviously my aim point was just a bit off. Alrighty, hole 6, par 3, 262 feet. It's just straight and just to the right. Looks like a pretty simple basic forehand, so gonna go MD5. Oh. Hit one of the last trees. Got to push a little bit straighter than that, but I should be putting from deep C2. Just realized before I walked off the tee that you could try a little turnover backhand, so I'm gonna try that real quick. All right, I think that's actually blasted. That was my soft proxy. Put it on a nice little anhyzer and kind of just rode while panning out. So let's see about that. Definitely looks like the basket is on a bit of a mound, so there is a quite steep backdrop behind the green, as well as one to the right and just short, kind of all filters into a creek. So I'm starting to think that the turnover backhand is the play. You just need to not juice it and kind of like hit in front of the basket and slide up, just so that you don't risk rolling down the hill or anything like that. I'm gonna give this a soft little run. That was pretty much perfect. Gave it the height to potentially go in, but landed right onto the basket. Would you look at that? The proxy actually did hit the green, stayed pretty close. So I'm guessing it probably hit this tree and just sat right here. So definitely a not viable option. This is the hill that I was talking about behind the basket. You can see it kind of goes down to that creek. It has quite a steep drop off. I don't know if the camera's gonna really be able to show that, but very good green design if you ask me. Okay, so that lower tee position was about 260 from the pin. This upper one is 305, and there's a couple of different gaps. There's a right gap and a left gap, either just a hyzer backhand or a soft forehand or turnover type shot. So I'm gonna try the P3X down that right gap. Hit it on just like a smidge of ante so that it can work out the whole way. Whew, missing my lines right now. I'm gonna try that turnover line with the proxy again. It's pretty good, but those soft proxies, man, they're a little stable, so they like to fight out at the end. Alrighty, P3X found its way to the middle of the fairway. So I'm gonna just pick it up and try throwing it again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. That'll do nicely. All right, proxy was not even close to as long as I thought it was, so we actually have a little putt here. Just a practice one. Not gonna be taking this one, but let's see if we can knock down the bird. All right, that one felt good. And this is my lie over here at the P3X. Three different shots, three different putters. I think that makes for a fun par 3. Alrighty, hole 8, par 4, 445 feet. Looks like it's a big hyzer off the tee, and it just kind of dog legs left the whole way. Looks like there might be some sort of out of bounds structure as well. We're gonna have to see when we walk up the fairway, but I'm gonna go with this iBlend Emperor, new to the bag, but really nice for that just kind of hyzer pop up and then just coast the whole way, very glidey. So let's see what we can do here. All right, that definitely got up there. Got pretty far left, so hopefully I'm not in too bad of a position. Let's see where it landed. Alrighty, walking up the fairway to try and find my Emperor, and I think I'm seeing why it's called Chimney Hills now. That is pretty sick as a feature on a disc golf course. Just found another little chimney, what looks to be a chimney as well. I'm wondering how many more are out here, how much they're spattered, but this is pretty cool. I'm enjoying the scenery. Alrighty, after a bit of looking in the rough, it ended up that I was actually pretty dead center in the middle of the fairway. I thought I saw it skip pretty hard left, which was what led me to believe that it was in the fairway. And now looking back on the fairway, I think you definitely want something with a little bit more hyzer like stand up. You definitely do want to get left, but you don't want to end up in the left side rough because there's just a lot of little trees that's gonna harbor a good upshot. So I'm gonna take my A2 and just do a little quick Anheuser flick up the hill, hopefully get pretty close to the basket and not hit that gorgeous chimney. Woo! Was pretty close, but that should be parked. Look at this thing. Probably about 40 feet tall or something like that. That is a gnarly green right there. MD5.
That's a great shot.
Appreciate it. All right, so as you can see there, that was hole 9. We have a steep hill that this green is on, but got a pretty good rip with my MD5 and now should have a nice little putt for par. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to record it. This hill is so steep. My tripod is not gonna have a fun time trying to stand up here, but let's see if I can get something going. All right. Alrighty. Hopefully that stays up. Not gonna risk it trying to reposition it now. Just gonna make this putt. There we go. Nice little birdie. Alrighty, that wraps up the front 9, everybody. Amazing course so far. Really enjoying it. A couple under par, I think, after a couple of rocky holes. So been really enjoying it. You're looking forward to the back 9 and showing you guys the rest of the course. So if you're not already, make sure to subscribe, hit a little like button for me if you can, and check out yeetstreetdiscs.com.